And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game Day Squad's Aussie Rules live show. This is for round 13. I'm super excited about this live because it's the first time in a very, very long time we have footy to watch after. There's
Thank God.
finally a Thursday night game. They have heard our prayers. Let's go. I'm so excited to get into this one today. And today we have a very, very special guest on the show. It's Mark Jones, or better known as in the Game Day Squad community as the Relton Rockets. Hello, mate. How you going?
I'm going all right. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. Are you ready to talk some footy and some bant between the Swans and the Saints?
Yeah, I would have been maybe up until round 6. I probably would have been a bit more confident about the bands, but we'll still give it a crack.
Absolutely. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host on the Aussie Rules show, Kerm. Big fella, mate. How you going?
Good, mate. Good. Keen to get stuck into this. We want to get back, watch the footy, get off, get stuck into our teams, all those last-minute changes that we're known for. So keen to get stuck in.
Yes, plenty to talk about. And guys, what you can expect in the live stream today. We're going to do our team run-throughs first, let you know who we're starting this week, give you some insight into our strategy. Then we're going to go into grill the guests, talk to Mark a little bit, find out a little bit about him, all that good stuff. Go into our buy, sell, which is, I know, everyone's favorite part of the live stream, where we get to list 6 cards up on the transfer market for a cent. Hopefully we got some good vibes tonight, some legendary vibes at that as well, because you just never know. And then we'll finish it off with our lock of the round and tell you who we think is going to play well this week. But today we are here because of Game Day Squad. And if you're not sure what Game Day Squad is, look it up on the internet. If you're an AFL fantasy fiend like all of us here in the live stream, you are going to love it. Play today for free and open your starter packs. Create, coach, and compete. But enough of that. Let's get into the show. Mate, Mark, I want to know, this is your team. Everyone's seeing it for the first time now. Let's run through it. Talk about your strategy, mate. Take it away.
Well, I've been trying to mix it up a bit with some risky picks lately, and it's not been working well for me. So I'm just going for the old faithfuls. I'm sitting in 8th overall in capped, which you'd think would be pretty good, but I've been slipping, and I came 80 something last week, which is still not bad. But if I want to stay in the top 10, I think I just need to pick the consistent high performers.
Yeah.
So buy round this weekend probably was one of the better buy rounds with what Gold Coast and Geelong have been out. There's only really Stewart who I think came out, and what do you want to know?
Beautiful, mate. What I want to know is tonight you got a lot of players playing. You got 1 Saint, 3 Swannies, a lot on the line tonight. Hopefully a lot of points at that as well. Are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Saints, but we give up a lot of points. So I'm excited for 2 reasons tonight. I'm surely Goulden's going to get 40 touches at least tonight against the Saints. And then, Warner, the Sydney midfield is pretty empty at the moment. So hopefully he can find a fair bit of it. Yeah.
I love it. Your team is clearly so insane, and I love the emotional hedge playing in more Swannies over your Saints for tonight.
I'm a chance at top 8 for the Game Day Squad, but Saints will drop out of the 8 very soon. Don't worry.
And for those listening along, I've known Mark a little while now. We're good friends off Game Day Squad, and I know we chat pretty much every single day about fantasy. And I know one big out that you've made this week is Sammy Walsh out. Yeah, and I know he's been in your squad for a couple of weeks now. Can you talk us through that decision?
I think he's been in my squad since he came back.
Yeah,
and I just can't. I can't.
Yeah,
like he didn't even look that bad. He just wasn't getting it, and he was I can't.
It's a strange role. That role off half forward flank. It leaves you in no man's land so often, and it's the same as Doherty. I even had to think about Doherty this week because his weird high halfback flank, almost winger role, leaves him in no man's land a lot at the moment as well. But Doherty, I think you're right. He's a little bit more safe than Walshy at the moment. And we saw last week that score was, it seemed like the writing was on the wall for a couple of weeks, as you said. But Yeah,
And there's so many like quality midfielders that could
Yeah.
take his place straight away. So I
You're
think
so
with
right.
Doherty is still like one of the premium backs that even if he has a 100-point game, he still take that.
100%. Totally agree. And I've seen some questions recently in the Discord is like what strategy should you have? And a lot of it referring to the salary cap in cap leagues.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at what you have in front of you right here. This is perfectly how to put your team together with the highest amount of multipliers. But of course, we all know that it's not just about putting all the highest grade players and evening your team out. It's about the people you actually play. Some of those point of difference players you were talking about before, Mark. But, mate, I might flick it over to our teams and maybe you can give us some thoughts after we run through. But this is me, which I'm hoping to aspire like yourself, get inside that top 10. I'll tell you what, I'm catching you, big fella. I know you said you had a bit of an off week last week.
Yeah.
I'm hunting, and I really want one of those top 10 spots.
Your name will be on the leaderboard soon.
Oh, I'm one off, man. I'm 11th. I'm just itching. Dude. I'm itching. Start off with the back line. Not much has changed here. I actually had Caleb Daniel as a last-minute sub last week. Scored 160, if you don't mind. So thought maybe he gets another crack this week. Luke, Ryan,
he's snuck into the top 10 defenders now overall. So he's a quality pick.
Yeah, he's been sneakily good all year. And the only thing for me is sometimes he's taking in a lot of the kickouts. Other times he's not. And you can really tell in his score for the week when he is and isn't. But let's hope he's taking the ball out this week. Luke Ryan, not stoked about. I'm still tossing up between him and Sinclair, which I've got to make that decision soon. So one of those two will be playing in the midfield. I've made a bit of a change. Laird has come out as of now. Now, I don't know whether I'm just a little bit salty about his performance last week and putting a gold card in, or if I'm actually thinking with logic here. But I've gone with a silver Sarong. Got a silver Brayshaw back in, gold Merritt there, the bronze Petrarca, and silver Tommy Green. I'm not sure if that's going to stick. I might do an old Kerm Pep Guardiola when time comes. But as of right now, we're rolling with that. Timmy English in the ruck. That's a no-brainer for me. Has to be Tim English. English gang in the chat. I want to see some if you're on board with us. I know there was plenty of you last week. And then the forwards. You got Dunkley, Cogs, Goulden. And then I picked up a silver Zach Butters this week via trade. So extremely excited to start him in my team. He's debuting. Super pumped. The gold Taranto and then a silver Sheasel, which I'm actually tossing up whether he will get the start this week. I'm thinking about that Jezza Cameron on the bench coming in. But that rounds it off.
I was going to say that the biggest glaring name there, apart from Laird being out, is that Sheasel card up front. Continuing on in the old Zeus Cannons up forward. So interesting considering how his role has changed a little bit under Brett Radden.
Massively, yeah.
Yeah, it's more his game style. He came into the competition, didn't he, out of the rookie draft as a forward mid.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, Clarko working his magic turned him into one of the best players in the league from game one. But yeah, it's interesting how much his role has changed these last couple of weeks, and you're sticking with him.
Yeah, 100%. But Mark, tell me, mate, is this enough to get it done? Is this enough to eventually get you, or have you got my number?
Yeah, it's a very good side, and there's a lot of points of difference. So it could easily get me done. What do you think about Petrarca with Oliver potentially coming back this week? Well,
I'll tell you what, he's sitting on the bench right there. I've been waiting a little while to get Oliver back in, but if he is given the green light, then Oliver's most certainly getting the green light for my team. So I'll pend and wait to see if he's fully healthy or not, but you are 100% correct. Yeah. That's very exciting news.
I'm not sure I can get around dropping Laird, to be honest, but playing West Coast this week.
You got to look in the mirror there, mate.
Yeah, I do. I need to take my... Stop playing with my heartstrings. You're right. I've played it for so long. But let's move on. We've got our champion competitor here, Kerm, mate. This team is magnificent. Why don't you run through who you're starting this week?
Yeah, a couple of changes. Like Mark, I had Tom Stewart in last week, who is going to have to make way due to his buy around. And it is a straight swap for Platinum Jake Lloyd, who I love the defensive matchup against the Saints tonight, as Mark alluded to at the start of the show. The Saints do give up quite a few fantasy points. I think they're leading for defenders and midfielders at the moment. We checked before the show. So yeah, Jakey Lloyd's going to slot in there and hopefully notch up, those 100. I think he went 140 plus last week. If he can even manage that, I would be laughing. And like you, Tom, I've got a defender down back. It's not Caleb Daniel. It is Bailey Dale. And with Ed Richards having, I think, a hamstring complaint that he's injured with at the moment, I thought bringing Bailey Dale in to take those kick-ins and try and be that quarterback out of the Doggies back line, it might be a little bit safer than Daniel, who's been playing he's been getting CPAs, playing high midfield, and with Bevo at the reins of that midfield right now. To me, it's just a little bit too risky to bring Daniel in. So I had the choice between the two, and I lent Dale. It might come back to bite me on the backside, but
interesting. But yeah, I hear you.
Hopefully Dale can do a job for me. Andy Brayshaw will come straight back in. The big name in my midfield is Benny Keys, who has gone absolutely off his head these last couple of days last couple of weeks with some more midfield time. He's gone 130 and 141 GDS fantasy points in back-to-back weeks. He's also impacted the scoreboard, and against the West Coast Eagles, I think I could do a lot worse than Benny Keys at the Adelaide Oval. You could also see there I've gone Lockie Neal, but I've got Chad Water on the bench, and I think the Pep Guardiola is going to come in, and I think I'm going to make a late change to Chad Water, given how much the Saints give up midfield points. So, yeah, it's just that thinking that keeps you up, and Chad Warner, I think, will get that Thursday night game out of the way for me. I'm not Gorn Gang. Not Gorn Gang, English Gang. I do not have a Timmy English card, so I've gone Rowan Marshall over Toby Nankervis. And to me, I actually thought about this quite a bit through the week. Toby Nankervis quietly is averaging 118 GDS points, and he had an injury after round 4, but as soon as he's been out on the park, he has not gone under 100 GDS fantasy points. I think it's 7 on the trot now. So he is a really good point of difference player because everyone seems to be going that Rowan Marshall, Tim English route. But if you have that Toby Nankervis card or even Kieran Briggs for GWS.
I was about to say, that's position spicing up right now. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of depth in that position. And at the start of the year, it was pretty much one of two options, right? But now it seems like there's heaps. Like we've got Briggs, Nankervis. It's exciting times. Very exciting.
It is exciting times. And then you got Sean Darcy, who was the third ruck for a long time in rankings. So, yeah, as you say, it's not as clear-cut as it once was at the start of the season. And it might even get you over the line for a couple of weeks. You've got Tim English going on a bye in 2 weeks' time. So those Rowan Marshall cards, Toby Nankervis cards, Kieran Briggs cards will come into big value. But yeah, for this week, I've stuck with Rowan Marshall. And then the forward line is, again, I've gone a little bit, I don't think it's too vanilla. I've got Luke Jackson there, who, for me, playing as the sole ruckman with Sean Darcy out, I think he should go big. He's got a pretty good matchup against Toby Nankervis. Kieran Briggs and Toby Nankervis went head-to-head last week.
Yep.
And they both had insane games. So Luke Jackson up against Toby Nankervis is a more agile ruckman there, and hopefully he gets forward and kicks a couple of big snags. I like that matchup, and hopefully he can go big for me. But the rest is very vanilla. Tim Taranto, Cornelio, Rosie, Butters, and Dunkley. You cannot get much more vanilla than that. One thing I do want to highlight here is you can see Harry Himmelberg on my bench. Now, in 2022, he was an absolute fantasy stud because he played mostly defense for GWS in 2022. And so far this season, he has played pretty much full-time forward because they wanted to get him up forward with Aaron Cadman, play that supporting role, help him into the team. Yep. But with the likes of Nick Haynes and Isaac Cumming going down, they needed some men down back, and Harry Himmelberg has been that man. And last week, with his first full game down back for GWS, he had 15 kicks, 3 handballs, 7 marks, and 4 tackles for 107 GDS fantasy points. His first triple-digit score of the year. And I think their GM today came out, I forgot his name, but he came out in an interview and said that Harry Himmelberg is going to be playing a lot more down back. So he is an interesting and intriguing prospect for me going into the second half of the season. And I think I think if he's going to play that defensive role, he could work his way into my forward line quite easily because we saw how good he was last year playing that defensive role.
Mate, I totally agree. But what a team, guys. That's going to take you through the 3 teams that we're running this week. But let's move on with the show. Mark, I want to get into a nice segment that we call Grill the Guest. We want to get to know you a little bit better.
Well, you've already grilled me with that terrible photo, Kerm.
No, that's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. But no, I'll kick us off here, and I'll take the first question, which is, how long have you been playing Game Day Squad, and why did you decide to give it a crack?
Well, we used to work together, Kerm, and
Yes.
I still remember very clearly when you told me about Game Day Squad. And like I walked past your desk where you were meant to be doing work, and you were just like, "Do you know what an NFT is?"
So what is stitched up?
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh yeah." And it's like, well, and then you went into the spill of it, and it was great. And I was like, "Yeah, that's something I'm 100% all about." But yeah, so I've been playing since when it started. I had pre-order packs back in the day, and yeah, I think it came 5th in open last season for the half season thing that was running, and yeah, haven't stopped.
So you got some performance under your belt. I even back in the day when we were working together, I know there were a lot of packs being opened behind closed doors. We won't disclose where we used to work because it was a large medical facility, so that's probably best to keep under wraps. But no, that was good times. He's an OG, Mark. Mark Jones is an OG.
No, I'd love to hear it. But I might ask then an additional question on top of that.
Yeah.
What form of fantasy did you play prior to Game Day Squad? And like, have you been playing it for a long time? Were you very familiar? New territory?
Yeah, I used to play Supercoach a fair bit, so back through high school with all my mates, and then we had a league that was kind of going after that, and it was kind of dropped off a little bit. But Game Day Squad, I hope they can bring them all into the platform and get them hooked as well.
No, that's awesome, mate. That's awesome. Now, let me ask you the question I did actually want to ask you. So I know that your player inventory for your club, the Relton Rockets, is quite tidy. Like we saw your lineup that you're putting out this week. Plenty of cards, but of course, I feel like everyone has their favorite. What's yours?
Yeah. My favorite card I actually got in my very first pack that I opened. It was one of my pre-order packs.
Ooh.
It's a Diamond Dunkley.
Yeah.
Oh,
literally the first pack I opened. I was like, oh yeah, and it was probably a bad thing overall because I'm like always chasing that feeling now.
Yeah, it's sentimental as well at that point.
Yeah, but no, he's obviously been a little bit probably disappointing to where he was last year, but he's still top 6 forward easy, and as long as he can hang on to that forward status next year, guys, please. I think it'll be a pretty tasty card for a while.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the best cards in the game, and to get it so early in your Game Day Squad journey is pretty insane. But I'll give you one more here. We know that you're a veteran fantasy coach. So for the people listening, who is one point of difference player you would be keen to get a hold of for the rest of 2023?
Oof, that's a good question. Maybe, I don't know if it's necessarily a massive point of difference anymore, but I think Lloyd. Like he's still he's a quality player, and he's probably even, I don't know where he sits in the list, but he's top 10, I think. But he kind of seems to have dropped off everyone's radar a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he can sneak him in as a point of difference and still have a pretty low risk player. Any
concerns about the return of Rampy in that back line, or still think Lloyd's the one that's going to eat all the possessions?
I mean, he's consistently been a decent fantasy scorer with Rampy there, so I think it should be fine. But yeah, who knows? Yeah,
100%. Well, mate, thank you for giving us some insight into that. I might move on and quickly plug our Discord. Everyone, we've got a Discord where we have all of our community members. We have an AFL, NRL chat, all of that good stuff. But what we do is we run a competition every single week. The Discord is free to join, and it's free to enter this competition as well. And what we ask from you is who's going to be the highest scoring fantasy player for the round. And if you can guess that correct, you get a 3 times player common pack. Additionally, if you can get the exact score that they get as well on top of it, so you guess the name and the score you think they might get, and you get it, it's going to be a bonus 3 times rare player pack coming your way As I mentioned, the Discord is free to join, and you just need to enter those details into the competition tab. So get around it, and good luck. But let's get into
this.
buy, sell. I'm pretty excited for this one. Sorry, just switching it over. We're going to get these packs up. It's all going to be you this week, Mark. You know, sometimes we like to share the love. There's no love being shared this week. It's all you. And for everyone who doesn't know how this works at home and who's watching, I'll quickly explain it to you. We're going to open up 3 common player packs with 3 players inside. Mark is going to get the choice of keeping one of the players out of the 3. And the other 2 players I'm going to list on the transfer market for 1 cent after the show. Now, I have been leaving it sometimes a little bit late to distribute it, but I had a thought and was like, no, I want the people who are watching this live stream to get the chance of getting the players. So as soon as this live stream ends, I'm going to start listing those players up. So everyone who's watching right now, you've got the inside knowledge. You know exactly where to be after this live.
I'm keen for this. We've done this for 13 weeks now. We need a legend at some point. And...
look, I wouldn't complain about that.
Let's do it. Because of good energy, quick zen in.
Milky energy.
I'm ready. You boys ready?
Yeah.
We're ready. All right, let's go. Not the animation.
It's redraw.
We do have 2 silvers and a gold. No.
Okay. That's hot start.
Okay.
Not horrible, but obviously not great.
Dude, that is a nice card.
Yeah. So I take 1 card and the other 2 go on the market. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, correct, mate.
All right.
I'm going to
go Wingard just so the community get a decent card.
Oh, good guy, Mark. You're going to have to put me to that.
Can't guarantee I'll do that with the diamonds when we get into the bigger packs, but
wow.
You got to beat me to that Noah Anderson card, guys. So be cool to it.
For that, I know there's some people watching right now, guys. Some W's in the chat right there. Someone is literally going to get a Noah Anderson for a cent the second that this ends. That is so hype. But let's get into the next one. Good animation. Come on.
Wait, okay.
Oh!
Come on.
Oh, baby.
You got to do a hover, Tom. You got to do the hover.
Oh,
it's a diamond.
But, no buts. Sorry.
All right. It's still hype.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln McCarthy.
Oh my God. I just want to say, every other week we do this, we don't get many good players, if any at all.
Dude, Tim English.
Damn.
Jesus.
Goodness. You have a decision to make here.
It might be hard to be a good bloke here, Mark. That is
way too
the
nice.
Second highest averaging player in the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yes. We did a quiz the other week, Kerm, and I beat Callum. I don't know, you weren't there for that, but smashed him.
Oh, there you go.
One of the questions.
Thing is, though, I do have him.
You do.
So, you know what? Stuff it. I'm taking McCarthy.
Oh my God.
Just going to compound this karma to the legend.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Wow. Insane. Luke Skipper, he's saying sell him. He's trying to talk some sense into you, but you know what? You're too good of a bloke, mate. You're going to give it away. That is awesome stuff, brother. We do, and I'm sure whoever's going to get it is really going to appreciate.
Don't worry, I'll be on there refreshing buying him for a cent.
There'll be a legend Tim Taranto now. Oh.
No. Oh no. Okay.
Come on. Oh,
okay.
God.
Wow, that's a bit of a stinker. I can't lie.
Kadeem Coleman's brother.
Yeah, there's not much. There's not much upside in this pack.
That karma didn't come back to do you any good, man.
Regret. Can we just go sell? Work on it.
That's within the rules.
You know what? We can definitely do sell.
Yeah.
We'll get those 3 up there. That is more than fine with me. Oh, mate,
man.
that is unfortunate though. Wow, that really felt like it was building up to it was going to
It
be the
did,
one.
didn't it?
This is going to be
Yeah.
the night. But
I wish this was the first pack, but those
Oh.
two pulls, Noah Anderson and Tim English, those are two of the better pulls I think we've had in this segment.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's two players that are going straight into, a bunch of people's teams. Like you're starting either one of those players. Like, thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
Absolutely.
Getting me back because we're going to continue. We're about to finish up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to lock of the round. Kerm, why don't you take this away this week, man?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the last segment of the show. Now, this is the lock around where we get to pick a player each week. And if the player, we also assign a score to the player. So if the player scores above that score, it gets added to this tally on this lock of the round table you see here. And if the player doesn't hit that score, you get 0 points. And as you can see, thank God Callum isn't here tonight because he is racing away.
No, I'm upset, bro. I had it for 1 week, man. I had it for 1 week.
You had the crown. You slipped up the crown.
The
it was Rory Laird, which contributes to him not being in your starting lineup this week, I do imagine. But you're trying to claw it back. You're not too far behind. You've clawed it back for a long time now. You've put it back into within under 100 points, which was a massive, massive discrepancy at the start of the year. But you and the community are bringing it back. So Mark is going to be representing the community tonight. Hopefully we can get that to 6 out of 12 and get some more points and catch Cal back up. And I am a sorry loss with 467 points at 4 for 12 so far this year. So
how you
it makes no sense.
Capped?
Open.
Exactly. Yeah.
Second and open, but I can't pick a lock of the round to save my life. So we'll move on to the next slide. We'll show you who we're going in with this week. Callum up the front. He's got Tim English, an absolute cop-out for 113 GDS fantasy points this week. He should get that with his left toe by halftime. Tom, you've gone with Zach Butters, who is one of the most informed players in the league at the moment for 127 GDS fantasy points. I have locked up Luke Jackson without Sean Darcy for 121 GDS fantasy points this week. He's also made my lineup, so hopefully that comes true. But what we want to see here is, Mark, who are you locking in this week for the community?
I'm going to go with Big Tex Walker against West Coast.
That is a sick pick.
Wow. Texie.
Yeah.
All right. What are we locking him in for?
Oh, I want to go big, but 123.
Interesting. That's cool because we don't have many full forward or key forwards actually come into this lock around. Mostly it's just midfielders, apart from your Jeremy Camerons. But I like that pick up against the matchup against the West Coast Eagles with about 0 defenders available. He could be and should kick a bag. So I like the pick.
Yeah, wow. Definitely a point of difference player as well. I don't think too many people would be locking in Big Texie for that much. But if you pull this off, then, mate, that is honestly going to be a legendary pick. Yeah. But I'll quickly make a note. So, of course, as everyone can probably tell by now, Callum is not here tonight, right? There's a no-show. Then we haven't shown you his team tonight, but I'm just passing this on through the grapevine. I'm seeing here, I've got Woj on Twitter dropping all these bombs right now, and I've heard whispers that Callum's blowing up his team out of rage because he has 6 straight losses to me in GameDay squad in our week-to-week competition. So he's not happy at all. Yeah, so, and what I mean by blow it up is that he's throwing all of his strategy out the window for this week. And what he's doing, he's starting a platinum Tim English in his capped league side all around. Now, for everyone who doesn't know, the Western Bulldogs this week are going up against the Port Power. So that is against his own team. And I even got a message before the live stream today. Unfortunately, couldn't be here, but he left me with the hashtag English game when this guy was on Rowan Marshall Island just a couple of weeks ago. So he's truly blown it up. And I just haven't seen someone be so optimistic for an opposing ruckman that's about to, verse their team. It's very strange times here at GameDay Squad.
Is it that, or is it just giving up at this point?
But the head-to-head record's finally got into his head.
Yeah. Maybe we should just redirect him to NRL. Hey.
That is some good chat. He's going to watch this later and go, oh gosh, I couldn't even defend myself. But everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to another live stream with GameDay Squad. As I said before, footy is back tonight, so get excited. Get whatever you need ready, your food, your drinks, blah, blah, blah. Sit tight and get ready for a cracker game. It should be fantastic, and it's definitely going to be a fantasy-friendly game at that. So if you've got some players in there tonight, gosh, it's just some exciting times. Mark, mate, thank you very much for hopping on the live stream,
All right.
joining us, showing us your team, giving us plenty of insight. We really do appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me.
All good. Hopefully we can have you back again soon. And hopefully I'm in front of you at that. But everybody, we'll leave you and we'll see you for another live stream later on. Peace out.